What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be playing around with a title called KeeperRL. I've been covering this one for the vast majority of my entire career. I got this game back when I think it was on Desura or something like that, or maybe you just downloaded it from a website like Dwarf Fortress style. It's been a while, but today we're going to be taking a look at a title called KeeperRL. One of the few games to ever take the Dungeon Keeper formula and turn it into something like bigger and better. A full-on roguelike about building your empire of good or evil or whatever you want to be as you conquer the entire world along with your allies. This is one of those games that's been out in 1.0 for quite a long time, but the developer is very proactive. He's constantly like adding new things to it, tinkering with it, folding mods on into it. And so today, since it's been a year and a half to 2 years since the last time I checked the game out, I figured we would just play this for, like, as long as I feel like playing it, to be honest. I tend to get sucked back into this game, so I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I don't really need to do first impressions on this title because I've got, like, a ridiculous amount of hours in it, and so I already know this game is awesome, but this video is just serving as a notification to let you know that there's more stuff in it that you can play around with, and the nice thing about stuff in KeeperRL is that all of it makes the gameplay differently, which kind of opens up like another way to delete your life for the next 30 hours. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description. On top of that, you can also take a look down below and find a bunch of Nerd Castle links that are very, very hot and clickable. Let's go ahead and dive on into the game because today we are going to be playing one of the new factions that I've never played before. We're going to go in a little bit blind. I know the mechanics of the game, I know the progression of the game, I know how everything works, so it shouldn't be that bad. But the faction that I have not played yet is called the Corrupted Church. So for those of you that have never played KeeperRL before, this used to be all there was just like the classic option, where you played as an evil dungeon overlord that's raising an army of harpies and goblins and orcs and all that kind of stuff to wipe out the entire map of goodness. But they've changed that. Like, there's a lot of things in the game now. Like, you can play as the good guys now. So you can play as the castle, which is all holy knights and holy warriors and white dragons and stuff like that. You've got the undead, which has a completely different mechanic from all the other factions. This is basically like a Lich King playthrough. You've got the automatons, which are kind of similar to the undead, but also very, very different. You've got the colony, which is dwarves, but they play entirely different to all the other factions too. Greenskins are a mod that I think got like folded into this game, like in the official branch, and I haven't really had a chance to play them yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I still have not played the zombies. They are also new, and so there's a bunch of new things right now that you can fool around with in this game, up to and including playing as a lone Cyclops that's just making your own personal one-eyed luxury mansion. But today, Corrupted Church. This is like the newest thing that they've dropped since the last time that I played. In this game, you are a church that is holding masses and trying to accumulate followers before you fall to darkness and basically begin to like manipulate politics and stuff like that, which actually sounds really, really cool to me. So let's dive on in. When you start your game, you're going to get a map that's going to be procedurally populated by all kinds of stuff. Pay attention to what's around. You're going to want to kind of pay attention to how strong things are that are nearby you. And there's ants up there. There's goblins on this one. I'm kind of like picky about my map aesthetic, so I'm probably going to re-roll this quite a few times. We've got zombies up here. That's not too bad. That gives us an easy early win. Harpies aren't that bad either. Ants are a little bit tougher, but once we get iron gear, I think we'll be okay. All right, let's set up our religion right here, and then we'll go after the zombies first so that we can level on up. Once you drop on into the game, it's going to be the same for every single faction. You're going to have a number of workers, and you're going to have your leader, and from there, you are cut loose in this permadeath world. Now, our goal is to establish a religion that dominates the world. For better or worse, for evil, for good, it doesn't really matter as long as our religion comes out on top. And so this game is also a turn-based roguelike. So while the majority of the game functions something like RimWorld, you can actually take control of any of these characters that you want. Like I can take control of my main priest right now, walk around, kind of scout the map, figure out where things are at. It looks like we've aggroed some bandits on accident. I don't know if they're going to follow me all the way back home. It doesn't look like they're going to. We're in pretty good shape to fight bandits because they're kind of like a low-tier enemy. But I'm actually looking for a really good spot to start my base. If there's no enemy nooks or crannies over here, because your starting map always has a couple of enemy factions on it, they tend to be weaker enemy factions, but you can get really unlucky and you can get like vampires, or you can get something like dark elves on your starting map. That's going to be really ugly and bad for you. This spot right here looks like a fantastic place to pitch a tent and just start out the game, so I'm going to give some of those basic orders to get this thing up to ship shape so that we can start building ourselves a monastery right here on the fringes of society where we can spread our faith. And now that all the trees are down, we've actually got to put in buildings. When I play human factions, I kind of like to be outside. I don't know, dude. Humans don't really live inside of mountains if they can help it in most fantasy literature. And so I feel like building a monastery outside is what I'm feeling right now. I need to make a storage space for all of my wood. And so maybe I'll just make like a storage barn sort of area footprinted right there. And then once they get all that wood hauled back to the stockpile, we'll actually be able to use it to build. And so I'll start putting in some walls over here. I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra breathing room because at the end of the day, this is supposed to be like a workshop where people can craft items and also store items. And so we'll bring all this over here. I may have actually over-harvested wood. It's okay, though. We're going to go through a great deal of it getting ourselves started up here. I'll probably also put a few little outbuildings down here. That way, we've got like places for our people to live because they do need beds and they do need like locations where they can freshen themselves up and feel a little bit good about existing. It's no fun going through life not feeling good about existing, so let's remedy that for them. We'll put in a couple of building footprints right there. We'll get the interiors of the buildings all laid out because the game isn't really... So the game is designed to build outside, but the game really kind of assumes that you're going to be building inside most of the time. And so you've got to use some little workarounds in order to be able to build outside. You can cancel that wall right there. That's part of the game just got a quality of life update where they went through and just added a whole bunch of UI interactions that make the game function better. I'll probably turn this into like a central town square where my warriors, they can all train at. That sounds pretty good to me. Like we want this to be kind of like center field right here. And so maybe I'll just go like that right there. And then we'll just have like a little training area that we'll build on top of those stones once they get done putting down all these buildings, all these floors, and everything else. And looky there, we've got ourselves all set up with our starting base. So now we need to actually increase our workforce. We need to increase the amount of soldiers and things that we have. There's just no way around it. And if you want to recruit, they come through the bottom left right here. Different factions handle different recruitments in different ways. But in the case of our faction, it happens in the classic sense that they just pop up randomly based on what tech level we're at. And then we pick them on out of the group. And every single unit in this game has certain facilities they need access to in order to be recruited. The first thing that I'm really worried about is just that we're undefended right now. All that I have in my entire society is just my priest. He's the only guy that can fight, unfortunately. And so I'd like to get some of these training dummies in. That way, I can get a couple of soldiers, because we get one soldier per training dummy, and our characters can come over here and train up their attack stats on these training dummies, which makes them a lot more resilient and more likely to win if they get into a scuffle. The other thing that we're going to need is we're going to need beds. Every single unit in this game needs to sleep in order to restore their health and in order to get the good morale bonus. And so I'm just going to cram them thick inside of here. Nuts to butts. What's the point in having a religion if we're not going to use it to force people to spoon, man? That's the whole point of this entire thing. That's the reason why I became a high bishop. And so we'll get all these beds in here. We'll get the training dummies in. And then the last thing we need is we need like an equipment storage that's going to go right there. And we're going to need to put in a couple of crafting workbenches. That way we can get some artisans to start manufacturing gear for our characters. That way that they can be safe. I do think it's a good idea for us to just get some armor racks. I've got so much wood right now that we may as well get like armor racks. We'll get some weapon racks. We'll get like a bow rack. I don't think we're going to need more than that. We'll get like a scroll shelf right there. That way, once we've got scrolls, we can keep those for consumables. Potions, we're going to have a lot of potions, so I'll put in 2 of those. We'll get a jewelry box over here, and then at the end, we'll get a bookshelf for any of their like leftover books. that we have laying around, because we're actually like a really book-heavy faction. Our main character has an extra inventory slot that other factions don't get. It's a liturgical book that allows him to give, he can give sermons that give you like day-long buffs, basically, once we get our entire like cathedral up and running. For right now, it's not really that important, but we do have the ability right now. He's got more damage training potential. I'll take that. He's got a +8 against dragons. That's really, really good. And then we'll take that armed brother right there, so that they're now all filing on into our society. And we've actually got somebody that can throw hands on behalf of the faith right now, like we can Deus Vult extra hard. It's also important that we get equipment up and running. If you click on any of your crafting benches and you've recruited an artisan, which I have, he looks like Bonk the Caveman, dude. Bonk the Caveman used to be a legitimate competitor back in like the TurboGrafx days to Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog. And nobody talks about Bonk anymore, man. When is somebody gonna reinvigorate Bonk? Bonk was rad, dude. Did you ever play the Bonk games back in the day, like Bonk's Adventure? So dope. The entire point of the game is that it was like Mario Brothers, except that you were a livid caveman who headbutted stuff to death, and he got bigger and meaner and gnarlier the more meat that he ate. Fantastic games, dude. I still have mine somewhere at my parrot's attic. But equipment is really what we want to focus on for right now. Every single character has equipment slots, and all of these things are going to increase their stats. There's only like 3 stats in the game: attack, defense, and magic defense. But trust me, it does matter. You want those numbers to be as high as ridiculously possible, because there are some enemies in this game that are straight clunkers that will like lay you the hell out if you're not careful about it. Ooh, 2 more brothers. Yeah, let's get them. I could always use some more warriors, and as you can see, your warriors will go and they'll equip the armor and the weapons, like the clubs and the shields and stuff, that we've been manufacturing inside of our base in order to increase their efficacy. Poof! And after a lot of digging, man, this is not a fast digging faction. Some factions dig faster than others, like the dwarves are like warp speed. It's really, really easy to blueprint out a dwarf playthrough, but the human factions, man, they suck at digging. What we really need to do right now is we need to set up some light sources, because it's too damn dark inside of here. So I'm going to get some standing torches and just kind of like illuminate this area and make it look a little bit nicer, I think. I'm also just going to get some basic torches on the walls down here, because human beings like to be in the light. I think they get like mechanical bonuses for having light sources nearby. And once all those torches are in play, we actually need to get our religion up and running. We need to interact with the main mechanic of our faction, which is that we give out sermons every single day, and those sermons will give us various bonuses. So I'm going to put the rostrum right up here. I spent a little bit of time when I dove back into this game trying to figure out the difference between a pulpit and a rostrum. As far as I can tell, the only difference between the two is what they're used for. Like a rostrum is for lectures, and like a pulpit is used for sermons. From there, in order for us to effectively give sermons, we're going to need to put in a whole bunch of pews. And so if that's right there, we kind of need to like blueprint out where all of these pews are going to go. And I'd like to build enough pews that we don't really have to worry about it for the rest of the game. Like, if I can make that happen, that would be just absolutely glorious. I think we're in good shape right now. That should be enough pulpits, or enough podiums in order to get everybody buffed on up. And right now he's already giving mass at the moment. The book that he has equipped is going to determine what bonus we get for the day. This one is Summon Workforce, which means we're going to get a bunch of temporary peasants that are going to come work for us for the rest of the day, which will be nice. We can kind of just whip them into service. We also need to chop down more trees, because I am out of wood right now as it stands. So let's get a little bit more wood. There we go. What would church be without a little bit of wood involved? We've also got supplementary areas over on this side. You will want to develop those on out when playing as the Faith, because all of your characters actually have hybrid priest abilities. And so if we go down to mass right here, we're going to need these things called prayer benches. These are locations where my priests can come train, and also my warriors, actually, which is really nice. And so we'll just get some of these prayer benches down here. That way people can start getting supplementary abilities, like the ability to heal one another, the ability to buff one another. It's not going to be a lot here at the beginning of the game that it helps us out, but it will give us a little bit more oomph in a time where our faction is easily one of the weakest factions on the map. And so it'll just give us that little taste of divine power that gives us a better chance to persevere and survive. And you can see that my characters are already taking advantage of it. They're raising up their divinity level. That way they can learn to buff and heal. And with everybody able to do that, it actually means we'll probably survive a lot longer when we make base contact with the enemy. Ooh, I can hire priests now too. These guys are going to be like dedicated healers that are just going to hang out in the back lines and make sure that my front line doesn't fold. Having more of them is going to be super helpful. And now that we're all pop capped out, I think it's actually time that we sort of go on the warpath. I'm going to send out the armed brothers first because priests have this nasty habit of running away and kiting the enemy back to your base when the rest of the battle force is killed. And so we kind of want to make sure here that doesn't happen in case we get in over our heads. This guy right here is just a bandit, so this should be an easy gimme fight. Let's roll up on the bandits. Yeah, he's dead already. And we'll kick down the door Munchkin style. Oh my god, there's so many of them. Okay, they are fighting from an extreme advantage right now. We should definitely not let them hold this door, but your characters are going to auto-battle whenever you get into, like, a serious fight. It looks like they captured one of our guys, and they tried to take him into slavery, but since we won the fight, we should be good here. There we go. We'll get him back on our team, and we've killed our first faction. Now, why do you care about killing factions? You care about killing factions. Let me exit control mode here. Because you have a faction-wide level that goes up for every faction that you wipe off the map. And every single time you level up your faction, you get to pick something from your tech tree that makes you a little bit stronger and gives you a couple more things that make you more like the faction that you started out as. For right now, I think ironworking is going to be a really good pick because with leather gear and wooden gear, there is a roof. There's a ceiling on what we can actually accomplish here as a faction, unfortunately. And so until we get up to ironworking, we're going to struggle a little bit. And where do we get iron from? Well, we get iron from further down inside the depths of the map. That's right, KeeperRL has Z levels, and they basically go on perpetually. The deeper down you go, the worse of things you're going to run into, but the better resources are going to be available. We've got some stone on this floor. Since we have extra workforce for right now, I will probably just have them hollow that area out, and we'll keep diving down a little bit lower into the map to get after things that are going to have utility and make us more effective at fighting, because I think getting a blacksmith up and running is going to be a pretty big come up for our people. In the meantime, I would also like to know what is around us. I'm going to control this temporary peasant, and I'm just going to send him up here to check out these enemy bases on this side and figure out what we're up against. Okay, so we've got dark elves in there. We definitely don't want to mess with that base. Is it all dark elves? The dark elves are adjacent to something with this question mark right here. And so if we get very, very lucky, there will be dwarves inside that one, and the dwarves will come out and kill them for us. And then we'll just get the free XP. But we managed to make it into dark elf territory without alerting anybody that lives inside of there. Make no mistake, dark elves are going to absolutely dookie down our neck holes if we try to fight them right now, because they've got really, really good like mithril gear, and they've got lots of magic spells and stuff. And so unfortunately, we got very unlucky with our map, which is to say we started out with dark elves right next to us. But as long as they're not aware of us, we should be okay. I'm going to keep digging stairs downwards until I find iron, and then I'll get back with you, folks. And there it is on this map tile. We have iron. So if I can get my hands on all this iron, we can actually bring in blacksmiths. And once we have blacksmiths, we should be in pretty good shape. I'm also pretty stoked about grabbing that gold right there, too. This mining operation is going to take next to forever, so I'm not exactly sure how that's going to pan out once we get to editing phase of making videos. But it's got to be done. There's just no way around it. So unfortunately, this is one of those long-winded tasks that I kind of just have to get done for right now. So after a long amount of waiting, it took about 30 minutes for them to dig this tunnel right here. Like I said, not a digging faction. But the good news is I figured out how the dig buff works. It takes a little bit of micromanagement because not all of your workers actually go to mass every single day. And so you end up with some of these workers that actually have the digging buff and some of them that don't. And you're definitely going to want them to have the digging buff. If they don't have it, they are awful at digging tunnels, just absolutely abysmal at it. I think from now on what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to only grab things that are somewhat near the actual stairs themselves. But we've got a few things to play around with right now, which is good. Like, this accomplished a task. Never look down on slow playing things in this game, because really, you should be slow playing things. If you die, the game is over, and you got to start over and dig a whole new base. So I tend to be really, really overly cautious with this title, but we got enough gold out of that map tile right there that we can buy a few more acolytes. And I think that's a really good idea, because I feel super short on acolytes right now, and just having a few more hands to make light work, I'm totally cool with spending this first windfall on just getting more guys that can dig, more guys that can harvest, more guys that can do jobs, and it does look like we've actually got quite a bit more ore coming up. I would guess probably about another 200 iron ore. That'll be very nice as well, because that is going to allow me to come down here and we can take our crafting. So with our crafting, we can now get a forge, which is good. We need forges, so I'm going to put in 2 forges right there, and with whatever iron we have left, I'm going to try to armor up and arm up all my characters so that they can fight a little bit more efficiently. Now, as you can see, that's going to get really expensive when it comes to iron, so we're probably still going to need a lot more iron for this all to work. I'm going to keep burrowing downwards, but unfortunately, as of right now, our luck has not been the greatest with finding more resources, dude. There's tons and tons of tree shrooms underground. Tree shrooms are there specifically for factions that have trouble getting wood. You know, insert joke, obviously. But the truth of the matter is, the tree shrooms are the bane of my existence. I get so many floors when I play this game that just have way too many tree shrooms, and I found that, like, tree shrooms being on a tile sort of, like, guarantee that other things won't be there, which is a bummer, because I would like those other things to be there. But let's queue up some of our basic equipment first, that way I can keep track of it. So for right now, I think this first batch would probably be best spent, let's call it 10 chain armors, I think, because the difference between the chain armors and the leather armors is actually pretty considerable, I think. So, like, the leather armors give +3, the chains give +5. Actually, I think the swords are the better upgrade for right now. So let's take our swords, and we'll get 10 swords for right now. And then with what I have left, we'll get, like, 5 chain armors, I suppose. And that's going to be all of my iron gone until we can source out another batch of this stuff. Hopefully a batch of the stuff that's right next to the stairs, so it doesn't take us quite so long to get after it. And just our luck, the next floor down did actually have all of the resources that I need, be it gold or other stuff. There can be bad things down here in the dungeon, so watch out for that. You will run into enemy civilizations and stuff down here that are living right underneath your feet. It's very possible to start the collapse of your civilization on accident by just opening something up that you probably shouldn't have opened up. But with more of this iron coming on in, I'm feeling a lot more confident about our chances. The other thing that I think it would be a good idea to do is actually, we've got installations in here. If you're looking to increase your population cap, you can use resources to do that. Right now, the only things that we have available that are going to increase our pop cap are like these statues over here. So I am going to plop a couple of statues up inside of our cathedral. That way, we've got a few more things to play around with as time goes along. Like having a couple more guys would be a good idea. But we don't want that guy right there. He hates all dwarves. Dwarves are our allies when we're playing as humans. And so we definitely don't want to hate. You know, I can't have random factors out there strangling guys to death with their beards and screwing up my diplomacy, all right? We have friends. I would like to keep those friends. That's the point that I'll end on. And actually, while they're hollowing out the next floor down, I think it would not be the worst call. Did he actually do mass that day? I didn't see if he did mass that day. Did he do mass? I don't know if my guys have their digging bonus right now, dude. Without digging bonus, I'm completely and totally useless. He doesn't have the digging stat. What about you guys? You guys got digging bonus? Oh, I don't think he finished the mass. I think he might have bugged out and just not finished it. Well, that's a bummer. That's going to make this take forever. Man, finish your mass. How are you going to start a mass and not finish it? You can't leave us all in suspense. How does the story end? Like, how does the whole thing happen? Upsetting. Deeply upsetting. But while they do that, actually, I think it's probably time for us to upgrade some of our training facilities as well, because we can get iron training dummies now, and the iron training dummies will allow these guys to train their stat up even higher. You can see I'm doing it right now, but the wood ones only let us go up to 3. I think the iron ones let us go up to like 5 or 6. Is that what they let us go up to? What's the maximum on those? 7 damage levels, so actually more mileage than I expected. And 4 more attack damage on these guys is going to put most of them up to around 30 attack, which is going to be the time where we can really seriously go on the warpath and start wiping out minor factions and just getting tons of technology that'll help us advance through the game quicker. I'm actually kind of wondering if it didn't bug out. Instead, if your prayers have a chance to be answered, that would kind of like tap into a lot of divine stuff in fantasy books and whatnot, where the gods are kind of like, I don't know, wishy-washy. Like sometimes they're down to ride, and then other times they're just like, man, forget these people. Maybe that's what happened on that last rotation. Either way, they've got their dig buffs up now, so they should be able to finish this off without too much trouble. Ooh, and we found a nice little bonus on our way inside of here, too. So we found an Enchanted Pool. The Enchanted Pool allows us to enchant our gear, so we can create, like, enchanted versions of the stuff that we make. So this is actually kind of a nice little come-up. This may end up being kind of helpful to us in the long term. And looky there, through the magical power of editing, we're already done with the things that we needed to get off this floor. That's given us a considerable chunk of iron, and it will be giving us a considerable chunk of gold very shortly. So let's use that to kind of like modify our armies, make them a little bit stronger, make them a little bit tougher. We've got our anvils over here. I think I made like 5 chain armors. I think I'm probably going to need like 4 more. And then from there, we're going to need like 10 of each of these, I think, as long as our iron holds out anyways. I don't know if it will, but I'm going to try. Give me a couple iron croziers too, and then like those, and it looks like we're all tapped out of iron. Once everybody's all equipped up, which should be sometime like tomorrow, we've got like 1,000 turns, I think, until all of our crafting is done. But once our crafting is done, once I'm in full iron gear, I feel much more confident about going out and beefing with the neighbors. All of our crafting orders are done. All of our guys are re-equipped with iron tier gear, so we should be in better shape here. If we take a look at all of our armed brothers, we've got a couple that still have, I think, some training that they need to do, and unfortunately, they haven't picked up very good gear just yet. But they will. Like, they'll get better with time. It's just, it's gonna take a second. In the meantime, though, it'd probably be a really, really good idea to take these guys out and do some conquests. So let's wake everybody up. And I don't know if I want to fight the elves just yet. The elves might be a little bit of a headache from where I'm sitting right now. But we should be able to, like, take care of the zombies pretty easily, I think. And so, like, actually, there's a bandit village over here that doesn't look that bad. So let's just go take care of the bandits real quick. Like, we might as well take freebies. Oh, we've got magic missiles now, too. That's fun. Bandits should really be no problem for our current army. I don't think they even have weapons that can damage us at this point. I like to be a little bit ahead of the curve for any challenge that I'm undertaking in this game. I don't want to capture guys. I want to kill guys. Yeah, maybe come back over here and just murder him to death real fast. Just, you know, take care of business on him. I don't even have a prison yet, so, like, you might as well just beat them all down real fast. Break this door. Oh, there's more of them in here. Luckily, I caught a heal from one of my priests in the back, and now we've killed off another tribe of bandits. While we're here, we should probably take a look around the map and make sure there's no more minor villains around here. The one that's denoted on the tile is not always the only faction that's around. And so it might be an okay idea just to look and see. It doesn't look like there's anything here, so we'll exit control mode. We'll let them come back to town, and let's see what these guys had. So they've got a couple of healing potions. They've got clubs. They've got like a damage mushroom. Nothing that I'm super excited about folding on into my overall operation for right now. So we'll just banish them real quick. I'll let my warriors come home. The second they get home, did I actually get a level up from that? I almost got a level up from that. Okay. We're going to need to find some more people to pummel on. Everybody's re-equipped. I can't get them to stop putting croziers on my melees, though, which is kind of driving me nuts. Like, you have a little thing that allows you to, like, banish equipment and, like, restrict equipment and whatnot, but I can't stop a melee guy from equipping a caster weapon because they see plus 16 divinity as being better than, like, plus 12 attack, even though their function on the battlefield is to attack. Let's grab our army real fast, and we're going to control them, and I think we're going to try to take them all the way out on another combat exercise, I think. So let's see if we can get that done. This map actually looks like it's got bandits and it's also got zombies on it, so we should have a pretty good chunk of XP coming in after we get done with these guys. Just murder everybody. Like, yeah, just kill everything, dude. Just let it all die. Are they all in there? They are all in there right now. Good job, boys. I believed in you. He almost died. That would have been bad. What's inside this chest right here? $5? Well, I don't think that fully justifies a chest, but sure. Who's over here? Are these like elves or villagers or like what are these guys? I don't want to kick down their door. That just seems really impolite. More bandits, actually. Many, many, many more bandits. I wish we weren't fighting on the tile that we're currently fighting on, but hey, I'll take the XP. All right, somebody throw a heal on him. He's looking kind of shabby right now, dude. He is not in the state that I need him to be in. There you go. Funnel him this time. See, I believed in you. Just don't step into, like, the main attacky area. Cool. Another tribe of bandits down. Where are the zombies hiding at? There's got to be zombies around here somewhere. It's kind of dark because we're still on nighttime, but, like, looks like we've got more factions over here. Even more bandits, dude. The bandits have an army. They got more guys than I've ever seen. They got more guys than I do, and I'm, like, established religious faith. All right, boys. Let's kick off this Donnybrook. Capture the cancel order. Just finish him off. How good are these guys at actually digging? I don't think they have a dig stat. Maybe I should build a jail and I should start capturing these idiots. That way I can make them do my digging for me since my priests suck at it. Are there more of them inside? There's one more inside, and that was the last one we needed to kill for credit on the murder. We got zombies over here, but unclear how many. Just the one? Oh, I gotta go down the stairs, huh? Okay, let's be careful about it. We don't know what we're getting ourselves into right now with this dungeon crawl. Zombies should be kind of like a gimme fight, but since we're fighting inside of a corridor, I don't think that anything is guaranteed right now. Their damage is not good enough to get through our armor. Our attack is not good enough to bring them down in like 1 or 2 hits. They're definitely sturdier than the bandits, but they don't hurt as much as the bandits, which is nice. Seems like there's a lot of them down here, too. And the coffin has like a hammer inside of it? Hell yeah, dude, go get a hammer. To me, hammers always like associate with holy fury. But this is KeeperRL. I hope you guys enjoyed this showcase of it. I think it's a really enjoyable game. I think it's one of the great underrated roguelikes on Steam right now when you consider the fact that it's got so many different factions that all kind of play differently but towards the exact same goal. And then from there you've got like adventure mode. Lots and lots of things to play around with in this game. And I've been recording for like 1 hour and 40 minutes. I don't know where the footage is going to land, but I feel like I'll probably stop it off right here. It's great. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's weird that this game doesn't come up in roguelike conversations more. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, it was victorious KeeperRL slaughtering our foes. Tomorrow it'll be something else. Did they just murder a moose? Why'd you murder that moose? What did he do to you? God, maybe it's a good thing I'm turning you guys off. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, folks.